Hello snowboarders of the internet, I am your host TC and today I will be reviewing the GNU Finest. This board is equipped with GNU's C2X camber profile, so what that means is it's going to have a short reverse camber in between feet with a longer camber zone under the front foot and the back foot, or if you ride it goofy, it's going to be the opposite for you, which that'll just give you nice stability underfoot so you don't feel super washy or anything like that, but it'll make it so you can swivel around easy, micro adjust, and float a little bit better. This board comes in a 148, 151, 154, 155 wide, 157, and a 159. I rode this board at Copper Mountain where it was a beautiful sunny day, not too much of a breeze, not a cloud in the sky, where when we got there it was a little bit firm but not icy where you could still lay an edge in it. Towards the end of the day it did get really soft and just super playful and fun. I used my Ride Fuse boots and Jones Mercury bindings. When we're talking flex on this board, it is definitely coming in at softer than the middle of the road. That being said, it does feel like pretty much a jib board with snap to it, where it does, when you get on the nose, the tail, or even just pressing into a carve on this thing, it does return that energy that you're putting in. Now when we translate over to stability, it is an extremely damp board. For how soft it is very damp. At high speeds, you will feel that nose and tail, or tail and nose, however you want to do it. That thing, you're gonna feel it moving around a little bit on you. When you're on edge on it, it does feel a little bit hooky. A quick detune should fix that. I remember that's how my old park pickle was. A little detune fixed it right up for me. This board, when you load it up, it returns that snap. It's not gonna be like bucking you or sending you forward or anything like that, but it definitely is noticeable where it doesn't feel like a wet noodle like on the Skate Banana or all that BTX stuff, where you can actually flat base this thing and just pop and not really have to worry about it feeling too washy just because of that longer camber zone underneath your foot. And I mean, I would still keep it to that smaller jump region where like might max out on that medium line like 15 to 20 feet or something like that, but it does feel pretty stable going off of them and landing, where you could set your edge if you're going to spin and you could trust that it is gonna hold. Now if you do overspin or over rotate on it, it's not gonna stop your rotation, so just keep that in mind and keep that edge up. That's downhill so you don't catch it and get a concussion, all that jazz. But overall, it is a good jump board. For those smaller jumps, I would say it definitely excels more in that jib section than the jump section. If you're enjoying the video, make sure you like, subscribe, click that bell, and turn on those notifications just so you don't miss any other videos we have coming out. This board definitely excels in this aspect, where pretty much the sweet spot on the nose and the tail, or the nose and the tail, depending on how you want to look at it, is pretty much right outside of that binding, where you have from outside the binding all the way to the metal edge on the side there where it cuts off, where you pretty much just flex into it, it'll hold, return a little bit of snap to it, but it's really easy to just get on it and not even have to like ollie to press into it. You pretty much just lean back, put your hips right over this contact point, and you're gonna be all good to go. Now when it comes to jibbing, this thing is a little bit softer, so when you do land in between the feet on a board slide, it grips it pretty well. It might slide side to side a little bit on you, but with those longer camber zones underneath your feet, it holds it a little better. When you're tail pressing or nose pressing, it is super easy. It almost feels like a cheat code. It is one of those types of boards where you barely have to lean back, the nose will pop right up, and you're all good to go on it. Now approaching the rail, I did notice it felt a little bit hooky, so just keep that in mind. As I mentioned before, a quick detune should take care of that. This board actually carved quite a bit better than I expected, where you definitely notice that it is asymmetrical, especially on that heel side edge. When you go to lay into like a short, hard, quick carve, you feel it hook really fast, where I'm not a huge fan of that. I want it to feel the same on both sides, but as I mentioned before, quick detune should fix that for you. When you're getting into those medium and larger carves, I would say there is a speed limit to this board. You'll feel that nose and tail flapping a little bit more, feeling a little bit uneasy, but the magnet traction does definitely help there, where It holds, it doesn't feel like it's dragging or slowing you down. You just kind of notice that it is cutting into that firmer snow. You can Euro carve on it. I would say don't try to overpower it and come in too fast. Just keep your weight centered over it and just have a nice smooth groomer and you should be all good to go on it. Rider in mind. They built this board for pretty much somebody that just wants to like grease rails, hit those smaller park features, and be just pretty much a little playful out there. They're not trying to hit everything with speed and go the biggest out there. They're just gonna be super creative and pretty much just wanna ride like Max Worthington, who it's made for, really. If you want to support us further, head on over to Angry Snowboarder VIP. Sure, I could get into it in depth here, but we have a great video over there that explains everything. I actually like this board more than I expected to, where I was like, okay, they just put a graphic and a name on a park pickle pretty much, but it got more than that to it, where it did catch me off guard with how fast it could turn, how kind of hooky it was, but overall it was a fun board. It was pretty much what I wanted it to be on that day, where I was like, let's just butter, let's jib around, let's do some weird tricks off of tiny jumps, that sort of thing, where, I mean, that's what it's made for, and that's really what it excels at. And I wouldn't buy it as like my race board or anything, but it's still a really fun board. And if it's a board you're looking for, I'd pick one up for sure. Comparable boards: the Bataleon Disaster Plus, the K2 World Peace, and the Capita Pathfinder Reverse Camber. Recommended bindings: the Bent Metal Logic, the Union Ultra, and the Salomon District. This has been my review of the GNU Finest. If this is not what you're looking for, why don't you check out our giant catalog of other reviews out there and you can find something that you're interested in.